Here at the Rise Schools, our mission is to prepare our scholars to be catalysts of social change, and the way we do that is to provide a rigorous, high-quality, holistic education program. Our holistic education program is grounded in our 6 pillars, which include restorative practices, social emotional wellness, ethics of care, entrepreneurship, experiential learning, and culturally responsive teaching.
So when I think about restorative discipline at Grammar, what I really like to focus on is the repairing of relationships, the understanding of behaviors when it comes to scholars, and how my actions impact other people, and putting the focus on learning. Okay, so those are the things I think about when I think about the way we deal with restorative discipline at Rise. So what that means is when a scholar does something that they shouldn't do, and they make it to my office, right? It's not just a here's the consequence. There has to be a conversation, and the purpose of the conversation is to get the scholar to internalize their behavior, to think about what it is about them that made them do what they shouldn't have done, how what they did impacted the other person, how it impacted the class, and how it took away from learning. And so there's always a conversation that precedes anything else, and then an act to restore.
For us, entrepreneurship is an important part of what we do because it is important that our scholars get real-world experiences and are getting 21st century skills so that when they go out into the real world, they are able to succeed. Our next pillar, ethics of care, is all about how we take care of ourselves and how we take care of each other within our school community. We really focus on making sure that care is an essential part of what we do.
We have a lot of programs in place to support our ethics of care. We have a hospitality committee that's set up to celebrate success and celebrations for our staff. And our hospitality committee also promotes events for our families and scholars. We also have an ambassador program where scholars are chosen to be ambassadors of our school based on their core values. Finally, as a school counselor, I know that our scholars need to have peer relations, and so even though we are virtual, we meet at lunchtime once a week for their grade level, and they are invited to have Scholar Social where they meet with each other, play games, and talk, so that when we return to school, they know each other and there's no strangers.
Next is experiential learning. For us, it is important that students not only learn the content from a theoretical perspective, but they get to practice in real time. This is especially important for our Black and brown boys who tend to do better when they are learning by doing. Our next pillar, culturally responsive teaching, is all about making sure that we are meeting the individual needs of each scholar and taking a strong lens of equity in order to serve them. This is no more important than we've seen this year as a result of the pandemic.
Here at Rise, we have what's called the Peace Flag program, and that's where scholars write down their hopes and dreams for themselves, their family, their community, as well as the world. One thing we're doing presently is a winter clothing drive that would benefit a homeless shelter here in the Fulton County area. Rise Prep will be a place for social change, and we do that by meeting together, developing projects that would serve the larger good.
Finally, social emotional wellness. This has been a challenging time for our school community. And so whether it is using our mobile distribution service to go out into the communities to deliver meals or cleaning products or hygienic products, or making sure that our scholars have the opportunity to meet one-on-one with our counselors and social workers, being able to meet the social emotional needs, not just of our scholars, but our parents and staff, is a paramount priority at this time.
Within the counseling department at Rise Prep, there are many programs that we have successfully implemented this year. One of our annual programs that our scholars totally love is doing breast cancer awareness. We actually honored one of our own, Miss Jones, this year, and she was able to tell her personal journey.
So the mission of the RISE schools is really to prepare our scholars to be agents of social change. And so that's really the foundation behind our 6 pillars. We want to make sure that our scholars are getting real world skills with real world experiences. We want to make sure that our scholars care about themselves, their fellow classmates, and their wider community. We want to make sure that we are responding to the social emotional needs of our scholars, because just as important as it is to be physically well, you need to be emotionally well. And we want to make sure finally that we are responding to the unique individual needs of our scholars. And while many of us may look the same in terms of our skin color or the experiences that we have based on where we live, we all kind of have nuances in our individual cultures. And so being able to respond to their cultural needs as well, and really focus on equity and inclusion, and making sure that all of our community members and stakeholders feel a part of what's going on is also a priority. So hopefully what you heard today addresses each of those 6 pillars, and we welcome you to come on down and visit us at any point in time and to see how we live out those 6 pillars, not just in our academic practices, but our non-academic practices as well. Thank you.